If you're loving this podcast, be sure to check out the full lineup. From news and local politics to sports and true crime. Find your next great listen right now at DuluthNewsTribune.com/podcasts. That's DuluthNewsTribune.com/podcasts.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Wednesday, May 15th. I'm Wyatt Buckner, the Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union's services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's today's headlines. Voters turned down a special election referendum question posed by the Duluth School District Tuesday by 453 votes, according to unofficial results reported by the Duluth Public Schools. Official results will have to wait until later today when they are reported to the Secretary of State, but according to an unofficial count by the City of Duluth, 5,007 voted in favor and 5,460 voted against the ballot question. According to Superintendent John Magus, quote, "It's not the outcome we hoped for. We have some difficult decisions ahead, but our commitment to finding the best solutions for our students is unchanged," end quote. Voters were asked to support a capital projects levy to provide $5.2 million annually for 10 years to support technology, security, digital curriculum, and career and technical education. This was the second time in less than a year that the district has turned to the voters for this funding, as a similar technology referendum for $5.3 million failed to pass last fall by just 289 votes. Another similar referendum question about funding technology failed by 1,400 votes in 2018. School Board Chair Jill Lofald said, quote, "The reality is that these investments are still needed if we are to give our teachers the tools they need to fully prepare students for success. We're going to look closely at every option to improve these opportunities for kids," end quote. The most hotly discussed issue at Monday night's City Council meeting wasn't even up for a vote or much discussion. A proposal to rezone about 4 acres of land just below East Skyline Parkway in Duluth's Hawk Ridge neighborhood would allow the prospective developer to more tightly cluster the construction of housing on the property, potentially minimizing the environmental impact of the project. But critics say the proposed development, Bald Eagle Estates, could irreparably alter the neighborhood and pose threats to a sensitive, high-profile portion of the city's natural landscape. Ken Leffler, who lives on Bald Eagle Trail, just south of the proposed development, contends the site is a poor choice for any sort of intense usage. He noted its location near Hawk Ridge Bird Observatory, Skyline Parkway, and the steep banks of Amity Creek, a designated trout stream that already is considered an impaired waterway. Cheryl Fosdick, owner and principal designer of CF Design Ltd., a Duluth firm that has consulted on the project, described the proposed cottage community development as a more efficient and less intrusive use of space on the site that makes use of shared parking infrastructure as well as other amenities. Nick Erickson, the would-be developer, said he aims to build up to 32 units of housing plus potential accessory dwellings on the site, the same that would normally be allowed across a 4-acre R1 property. However, he seeks to concentrate the construction more tightly than is permissible under the current low-density zoning. The Duluth Planning and Zoning Commission supported the requested zoning change, but recommended the number of housing units on site be limited to 24. Erickson does not believe the project will be financially feasible without the full complement of housing he has requested. Therefore, he has asked the council to be more generous in his limitations. An ordinance to support the requested zoning change for Bald Acre Estates received a first reading and could go to a vote when the council next meets, May 28th. But any subsequent proposed amendment to the ordinance could push a second reading of the ordinance back to June 10th. If the council fails to take action by then, however, the developer's initial zoning request could be automatically approved by default. The U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds will be headlining this year's Duluth Air Show, taking place this Saturday and Sunday, May 18th and 19th. Ryan Kern, the show's producer, said it's long been his goal to schedule the show, typically a summer event, while school is in session.
We are really excited to be hosting an air show in May, and the reason for that is it creates a unique opportunity for us. The air show is more than just planes flying around the community and providing entertainment. We work really hard and make a lot of connections in terms of trying to get other educational type opportunities into Duluth during the air show, some STEM outreach and things of that nature. And one of the things that we've been trying to do for over a decade was trying to integrate the air show performers into the area schools.
This year's other performers include a returning favorite, aerobatic pilot Britt Lincoln. Since appearing at last year's Duluth Air Show, Lincoln became the U.S. National Advanced Aerobatic Champion. This will also mark a final Duluth Air Show appearance by a man whose voice has previously been heard at nearly every event. Announcer Rob Ryder, who, at 75, said he wants to retire while still, quote, at the top of my game, end quote. Ryder's ability to think on his feet and respond swiftly to unexpected developments has been invaluable when things go wrong, as they did last year when a member of the U.S. Navy Leapfrogs parachute team was seriously injured after braking from a stunt maneuver too late for his chute to sufficiently slow his landing. Kern credited the well-trained Duluth Air Show medical team for responding immediately and arriving to help the jumper within 15 seconds.
These are things that we train for. When you're talking last year with U.S. Navy Leapfrogs, they were doing their performance, and whatever happened, the parachuter, when he landed, we immediately responded into action. We drill for this sort of thing. Our medical personnel was there within 15 seconds, and because of that, the individual survived. He made a full recovery, and he's back jumping with the United States Navy Leapfrogs on this year's team. So that's the winning situation. Those are the good scenarios that you train for, and we were fortunate enough that we trained for it, and we did exactly what we were supposed to have done.
While the Leapfrogs will not perform in Duluth this year, said Kern, the Patriot parachute team of ex-military jumpers will be here to make their local debut. The show commonly sees attendance, said Kern, of about 35,000 on Saturday and 15,000 to 20,000 on Sunday.
Every air show is different. Our mission is always to bring in new and exciting things, somebody that you've never seen, some aircraft that you may have not seen before. And then on top of that, right, it's the educational opportunities. We're bringing in NASA this year. That's something that's new. And we really try and keep it fresh so that there's something to go to every year. And so if you went last year, you're going to see a completely different show this year with completely different performers. And that's always the intent and always what we're trying to push towards, is giving you a reason to go the following year.
Kern encouraged visitors to check DuluthAirshow.com for updated information and parking maps. Ryder's pro tip, quote, stay hydrated and get plenty of sunscreen, end quote. Now here's a Look Your Forecast, brought to you by Superior Telegram's history podcast, Archive Dive.
Good morning. Duluth weather forecast for today. Another cool, breezy day. Partly sunny skies with a wind off the lake at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. High temps this afternoon in the upper 50s. Rain showers becoming likely later tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with temps dropping down into the low 40s. Again, that wind out of the east, kind of gusty at times off the lake. Thursday, showers likely, especially in the morning. Continued mostly cloudy and cool with a high in the mid-50s. Maybe a little sun Friday with temps warming into the 60s. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to Archive Dive for their support. The monthly history podcast, hosted by Superior Telegram reporter Maria Lockwood, dips into the archives of historic events, people, and places around Superior and Douglas County. A new episode titled The Bridges of Douglas County is now available at superiortelegram.com, or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Terry Caddo, Peter Passy, Jay Gabler, and Dan Williamson. Thank you for listening to Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.